It begins in the quiet hours of the morning. The kind of morning where everything moves just a little slower. The light that slips through the curtains feels softer, older somehow, like it's learned to be patient. You sit by the window, fingers wrapped around a cup of warm water, feeling that familiar heaviness in your stomach. Not pain exactly, but a stillness that doesn't feel right. The body, once so quick to respond, now takes its time. You've learned to live with that slowness in many things, your pace, your sleep, your breath. But this one, this slow rhythm of the gut, is harder to make peace with. It's a strange thing, how something as natural as digestion can begin to feel like a burden. In younger years, meals were moments of joy, a plate shared with laughter, a cup of tea after a long day, a little more than you needed because life was to be tasted fully. But now, your body has become quieter in its requests, more particular in its needs. It no longer forgives neglect or hurry. Constipation, that word so often brushed aside, starts to feel like a shadow that lingers too long. It's not just discomfort, it's a message, a quiet signal from the body saying, "Listen to me." Because at this age, everything is about listening, to your knees when they ache, to your heart when it feels tender, to your stomach when it asks for gentleness instead of indulgence.
There's no shame in it, though many treat it like something to hide. The truth is, it's as common as gray hair and as human as breath. Your digestion, after all, is the language of your inner life. It tells you what your body can handle, what it needs, what it's holding on to. Sometimes it's more than food. It's stress, worry, years of rushing through meals and moments. After 60, your body asks for care in new ways. And if you listen closely, you'll realize it's not asking for medicine first, it's asking for nourishment. Nature has always provided its quiet healers. Foods that don't just fill you, but free you, that bring back rhythm and lightness, that remind your body how to move again. These are not exotic cures or expensive trends. They're simple, humble, alive. They carry warmth, water, and memory, gifts from the earth that have helped generations find comfort. Maybe this story isn't really about constipation. Maybe it's about flow, about learning once again to let life move through you. The body, after all, mirrors the spirit. When one holds on, so does the other. And so the foods that bring ease are not just medicine for the gut, they're lessons in release, in trust, in simplicity. So let's take a quiet walk together through the fields and the kitchens of memory to rediscover the foods that help the body move, the mind soften, and the heart remember how to let go. Because after 60, healing doesn't come from trying harder, it comes from listening better. You start to notice that healing rarely arrives with fanfare. It comes quietly, in the smallest acts, the first sip of warm water in the morning, the slow turning of a spoon in a bowl of oats, the patience of waiting while something natural does its work. The foods that help with constipation after 60 are not loud in their promise, but steady in their purpose. They do not fight the body, they work with it. Each bite becomes a small reminder that your body still knows how to care for itself, if only you give it what it needs.
Take the humble prune, dark, wrinkled, and sweet with time. For generations, it has been the quiet remedy in kitchen cupboards, long before pills and powders became the answer. When soaked overnight and eaten in the morning, it offers not only relief but comfort, its sweetness mingling with memory. You might recall your mother or grandmother mentioning it, perhaps even insisting on it with that knowing tone that only experience brings. The prune's secret is simple. It carries both fiber and nature's gentle magic, sorbitol, a natural sugar alcohol that coaxes the body to release what it's been holding. It doesn't force, it persuades softly. Then there's flaxseed, tiny, golden, often overlooked. You wouldn't think something so small could hold such strength. But soaked overnight in warm water, flax seeds bloom, forming a soft gel that soothes the intestines like a balm. They carry omega-3s for the heart, fiber for digestion, and a sense of balance for the whole system. Eating them each morning feels almost like a ritual, a way of saying, I'm still caring, still learning, still nurturing. Papaya, too, is a quiet friend. Its orange flesh glows with warmth, carrying enzymes that tenderly help the stomach do its work. One spoonful, and you feel as though the sun itself has touched your insides. There's no rush, no sharpness, only ease. It reminds you that healing doesn't have to be harsh. It can be soft, tender, even sweet. And then there's the oldest and simplest of all, water. At 60, thirst becomes quieter, but the body's need for it does not fade. Constipation often begins not in what we eat, but in what we forget to drink. Warm water, not cold, helps awaken the digestive tract like morning light across a sleeping garden. It tells the body, gently, it's time to move. You can almost feel the stillness inside you begin to soften.
Each of these foods has its own rhythm, its own story. Together they teach something deeper, that the cure for stillness isn't force, it's flow. Healing happens when you stop fighting the body and start befriending it. The older we get, the more we realize that health isn't found in perfection, it's found in partnership. You and your body are on the same side. You're both trying to move through this life with grace. So perhaps the real lesson of these foods is not simply that they cure constipation. It's that they bring you back to the art of paying attention, to what you eat, to how you breathe, to what your body is quietly saying every day. It's a conversation, not a command. And when you listen, truly listen, the body responds, not with struggle, but with gratitude. As you grow older, you begin to realize that the body is not separate from the heart. Every small ache, every moment of stillness, every stubborn silence from within seems to mirror something deeper, something emotional, something spiritual. Constipation, for many, isn't just about what the body refuses to release. It's about what the soul has learned to hold on to. Over the years, we gather so much, not just memories, but regrets, unspoken words, the weight of responsibilities that never really left us.
They settle quietly inside us, layer by layer, until the body begins to reflect that same holding in its own way. You might not think of digestion as something emotional, but the truth is, it's the most human of processes. The art of taking in what we need and letting go of what we don't. It's the same rhythm that governs our relationships, our memories, our grief. And as the years pass, we often become better at holding on than at letting go. We hold on to people who have already gone, to the what-ifs that live quietly in the corners of our minds, to the comfort of old habits that no longer serve us. The body, in its infinite wisdom, begins to show us where we've forgotten to release.
It's a quiet kind of lesson, one that asks not for guilt, but for gentleness. Because healing after 60 isn't about control anymore. It's about compassion. When you sit down to eat a meal filled with foods that bring movement, warm oats, ripe papaya, a few soaked prunes, you're not just feeding your body, you're sending it a message. It's safe to let go now. You're telling your system that you no longer need to hold everything together all the time. Not your emotions, not your worries, not even your body's rhythm. I once met a woman in her 70s who said that after her husband passed, she began struggling with her digestion in ways she never had before. It felt like my body just stopped, she said. Like it didn't know how to move forward. Her doctor gave her advice and medication, but nothing helped until she began to focus on gentleness. On food, yes, but also on the way she treated herself. She started her mornings with warm water, oatmeal, and papaya. She took slow walks. She began journaling, just a few words a day, to release the things she could no longer speak aloud. And slowly, her body began to move again. It wasn't the food alone, she said with a soft laugh. It was the forgiveness. That's the quiet truth of healing, that it's not only about what you eat, but how you live with yourself. The foods that cure constipation after 60 do more than nourish the gut. They awaken something deeper, a gentler rhythm of being. They teach you that movement is natural, that release is safe, and that you don't have to carry everything alone anymore. So when you sit down to your next meal, maybe you'll pause, just for a moment, before the first bite. You'll take a breath and thank your body for all the years it has served you, for all the burdens it has carried quietly without complaint. And as you chew, slowly and gratefully, you'll feel a small shift inside, not just physical, but emotional. A reminder that healing is, and always has been, an act of kindness toward yourself. There comes a moment, somewhere after 60, when you stop fighting your body and begin listening to it instead. You start to see its small signals, the way it tightens when stressed, the way it softens when nourished, not as problems to fix, but as messages from an old, loyal friend. For years, perhaps, you've thought of constipation as a nuisance, an inconvenience, something that interrupts comfort and routine. But with time, it begins to reveal itself as something more, a quiet reflection of how life itself sometimes slows down, asking us to pause, to reconsider what we hold on to, and what we are ready to release. In youth, the body is forgiving.
You can rush through meals, ignore your thirst, skip rest, and still expect your system to cooperate. But later in life, the body becomes a mirror of your care. It responds only to gentleness. The foods that truly help you move again, the ones that soften, cleanse, and comfort, aren't merely physical remedies. They are teachers. The warmth of oatmeal in the morning reminds you of patience. The sweetness of ripe figs teaches that nature heals through time, not haste. The humble glass of water before dawn becomes a ritual of renewal, like washing away the weight of yesterday. There's wisdom in these small acts. Each bite of fiber-rich fruit, each sip of herbal tea, each mindful walk after a meal. They're not just healthy habits. They're quiet affirmations that life still moves within you. Because constipation, at its heart, is not just about digestion, it's about flow, and flow is life. When your body begins to move again, so does your energy, your outlook, your sense of balance. It's as if something inside you remembers what it means to trust the natural rhythm of being alive.
You begin to notice that healing doesn't require grand changes, only consistent kindness. Maybe you add a little flaxseed to your breakfast or make lentil soup for dinner. Maybe you replace your evening tea with warm water and lemon. And in doing so, you notice the subtler shifts, how your sleep deepens, how your skin softens, how your breath feels easier in the mornings. The body, once burdened, begins to hum again with quiet vitality. It's as though every cell whispers, "Thank you for remembering me." And perhaps that's the real understanding, that curing constipation after 60 isn't only about food, but about presence, about slowing down enough to hear what your body has been trying to say for years. I am not your enemy, I am your story. Every muscle, every organ, every quiet discomfort, they all hold a history of care and neglect, of nourishment and need. Healing begins not when you demand more from your body, but when you finally listen to it with compassion. So, when you reach for foods that bring relief, the gentle papaya, the soft prune, the comforting bowl of oats, see them not as medicine, but as gestures of understanding. Each bite is a conversation, a promise between you and your body that you will move together gently, patiently, through this season of life. Because healing isn't only about restoring what's been lost, it's about remembering what's still alive, still capable, still beautifully flowing within you. In the quiet of early morning, when the world hasn't quite awakened, there is a certain peace that belongs only to you. You sit with your cup of warm water, maybe a slice of lemon floating on top, and feel the slow warmth spread through you. Outside, the light moves softly across the walls, just as it always has, and you realize something simple but profound. Your body is not failing you. It is speaking to you. Every small struggle, every slow morning, every moment of stillness is its way of asking for tenderness, not judgment.
As you age, you begin to understand that true healing rarely arrives with noise or urgency. It comes quietly, like a gentle tide returning to shore. The foods that once seemed ordinary, ripe bananas, stewed apples, warm soups, now feel sacred, almost holy, because they remind you of something deeper that nourishment is love in its simplest form. The act of caring for your body, of choosing foods that bring ease rather than discomfort, becomes a kind of prayer. Each meal becomes an offering, a whisper of gratitude for all the years your body has carried you faithfully, even through neglect, even through silence. There's beauty in rediscovering this rhythm, in realizing that movement, digestion, and flow are not separate from life itself. They are its quiet reflections. When you begin to eat with awareness, to breathe with patience, to rest without guilt, your body begins to trust you again. The heaviness inside you starts to lift, not only from the stomach but from the heart. And you feel, perhaps for the first time in years, that everything inside you is beginning to move again, gently, naturally, freely. You start to notice small miracles, mornings that no longer feel sluggish, energy that returns without reason, the comfort of knowing your body responds to kindness. You begin to forgive yourself for years of rushing, of ignoring, of demanding more than your body could give. And in that forgiveness, something deep within you releases. It's as if your very cells sigh with relief, finally given permission to rest, to renew, to simply be. The foods that cure constipation after 60 do more than heal your digestion. They restore your connection to yourself. They remind you that your body is still capable of harmony, still deserving of care, still able to thrive when treated with love. Healing isn't about becoming who you once were, it's about meeting who you are now, fully, gently, and without resistance. And as the day unfolds, you carry that understanding with you. You walk a little slower, but with more intention. You eat a little less, but with more gratitude. You live not in pursuit of youth, but in celebration of presence. Because maybe growing older isn't about the years you've lived, but about the love you finally learned to hold. In your hands, in your meals, and most of all, within yourself.